what exactly is morphology? As you'll define in the book, morphology is an analysis of the structures of words. To analyze the morphology of words, we need to look at morphemes. As we know, morphemes are the smallest unit of meaning in a language.
Morphemes can be further broken down into two main categories. The first category is the free morpheme. A free morpheme is a unit of meaning that can stand by itself. The second category is the bound morpheme. A bound morpheme is a unit of meaning that cannot stand by itself. There are two subcategories under bound morphemes. There are the inflectional or the derivational bound morphemes. The inflectional morpheme is a bound morpheme used to indicate the grammatical function of a word. On the other hand, the derivational morpheme is a bound morpheme used to make new words or words of a different grammatical category.
We can use our trusty tree diagram to illustrate what we covered. Morphemes can be broken down into free and bound morphemes. Bound morphemes can then be further broken down into inflectional and derivational morphemes.
From here on out, we will be using slang words to illustrate morphological concepts we have covered in this video. Let's take the word cat, for example. This is a free morpheme. If we want to describe the orgasmic reaction one can have when surrounded by cats, we can add the bound morpheme gasm. Thus, we end up with the word catgasm, another free morpheme. How do we categorize the word catgasm? Let's try using a verb test. Since catgasm can precede an adverb, such as catgasm intensely, it can act as a verb. Using catgasm as a verb, what if we wanted to describe someone undergoing the catgasm experience? We can change the word catgasm by adding the bound morpheme ing. Then we get catgasming. So how do we determine if ing is an inflectional or derivational morpheme? If ing is an inflectional morpheme, catgasm and catgasming should be in the same morphosyntactic category. Is catgasming still a verb? Let's try using the verb test again. Since catgasming can also precede an adverb, as in catgasming intensely, it is still acting as a verb. Since catgasm and catgasming are both verbs, the morphosyntactic category has not changed. Thus, ing is an inflectional bound morpheme.
Can we treat catgasm as a noun instead of a verb? Let's try using a noun test. Since catgasm can be preceded by a determiner, such as the catgasm, it can also act as a noun. If we wanted to describe something that evokes an experience similar to a catgasm, we would have to change the word catgasm. By adding the bound morpheme ic, we will get catgasmic. How do we categorize catgasmic? If we try using the same noun test as before, we get the catgasmic, which fails the test. Let's try an adjective test instead. Since catgasmic can follow the word very, as in very catgasmic, it can act as an adjective. Since catgasm is a noun and catgasmic is an adjective, these words have different morphosyntactic categories. Therefore, ic is a derivational bound morpheme. Remember our previous example with catgasm? So where exactly did the bound morpheme gasm come from? The slang derivational morpheme gasm is extracted from the free morpheme orgasm and refers to an elated feeling caused by a particular item. Let's take the free morpheme nerd for example. We can attach the bound morpheme gasm to make the word nerdgasm, which means to really enjoy something geeky. Similar to our previous examples with the word catgasm, nerdgasm can be used as either a noun or a verb. Thus, depending on the context of the newly constructed word, the bound morpheme gasm can be treated as either a derivational or inflectional morpheme.
Let's recap what we have learned. Instead of constructing words, we will break down words based on the morphological concepts we have covered. Let's look at the word hipsters. We can break this word down into separate free and bound morphemes. Thus, hipsters can be broken down into hip, a free morpheme, stir, a derivational morpheme, and s, an inflectional morpheme. However, we need to be careful when breaking down words. Take the word hipsterific, for example. We can't break it down to hip, and s, and terrific. This completely changes the meaning of the root word to the biological part on our bodies, instead of the slang definition, beyond all trends and conventional coolness. Thus, the meaning of hip and hipsterific in this deconstruction is not parallel. Instead, it should be broken down into hip, stir, and rific.